So, you've probably heard a lot about AI assistants, but I want you to forget about a single AI agent for a moment. Instead, imagine deploying an entire fleet of specialized AI agents, all working in parallel, all tackling your most complex enterprise challenges at the same time. This is a huge architectural shift, and in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how you can master it. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll kick things off with why this agentic approach is really an imperative now, not just some cool option. Then, we'll get into the incredible power of running these agents in parallel. But most importantly, especially for any architect watching, we're going to dive deep into the orchestration and governance you need to control all that power before we see it all in action. All right, first things first. Let's get really clear on what makes this new wave of AI so different and, frankly, so much more powerful for the enterprise. It's all about making that critical leap from just generating content to taking real autonomous action. Okay, I'm sure you've seen this one before. It's a classic architectural headache, right? You've got a single important event, maybe a high-priority order comes in. That one thing should kick off a whole cascade of actions across a bunch of disconnected systems. But what usually happens? The chain breaks. Someone has to step in manually, and you've got delays and errors. And this is exactly where agentic AI completely changes the game. You know, unlike generative AI, which is fantastic for creating content, agentic AI is all about doing things. It actually perceives its environment, it breaks down complex goals into smaller steps it can execute, and then it takes action across your entire digital landscape. This loop you're seeing here, this is the engine that drives agent and agentic AI. It's this continuous cycle. The agent perceives what's going on, it reasons out a plan, and then it takes action using the tools you give it, like APIs or RPA bots. But then, and this is the critical part, it reflects on the result to learn and get better. This is how it can handle really complex situations without a person having to guide it every single step of the way. But, you know, the real power here isn't just one agent running through that loop. It's having an entire fleet of specialized digital workers all doing their jobs in parallel. Let's dig into that. This slide just nails the fundamental shift. Think about it. Traditional automation is basically an assembly line. It's sequential, it's linear. If one step gets jammed, the whole process just grinds to a halt. But with parallel execution, well, it's more like having a whole crew of specialists working at the same time. The overall throughput just skyrockets because tasks aren't sitting around waiting on each other. So we're not talking about simple little agents that, check the weather. We're talking about a fleet of serious, enterprise-grade agents, each with a specific job. You could have one living inside your logs, constantly scanning for compliance issues. At the very same time, another one is over in Workday processing invoices, while a third is in Salesforce updating customer records. They're all running at once, all getting work done. Okay, I know what you're thinking as an architect. This idea of a fleet of autonomous agents, yeah, it sounds powerful, but it also sounds like it could be complete and utter chaos. How on earth do you govern a system like this? How do you make sure every single action is secure, compliant, and fully auditable? Exactly. This quote from IBM really says it all. Autonomy can't mean anarchy, not in a regulated enterprise environment. You absolutely have to have a way to direct and control this fleet without killing the very power that makes it so valuable. And agentic orchestration is the answer. The best way to think about it is as the control plane for your entire agentic workforce. This is the architectural layer that makes sure every autonomous action is safe, totally predictable, and perfectly aligned with your governance rules. This is the key to making it all manageable and auditable. The orchestration layer is like a traffic controller, defining who does what and when. It's a director, managing the handoffs between different agents or escalating to a human when it's necessary. And maybe most importantly, it's like a court stenographer, creating an immutable log of every single action and decision, giving you a perfect audit trail. These aren't just, nice-to-have features. For an architect, these are absolutely non-negotiable. You have to have real-time observability to see what your agents are doing. You need those immutable audit trails to prove why they did it. You've got to embed your security policies directly into the system as code. And you need well-defined points for a human to step in and approve sensitive operations. Okay, so that's the architecture. Let's move beyond the theory and see what this actually looks like when it's plugged into the core enterprise systems that you're relying on every single day. This is so critical. This is not a rip-and-replace technology. A mature agentic platform is designed to work with and across the application landscape you already have. It can talk to modern SaaS platforms like Salesforce and Workday using APIs, and it can just as easily interact with your legacy mainframe systems by using RPA as its hands and eyes.
So check this out. Here's orchestration in action. A single customer ticket kicks everything off. The orchestrator immediately spins up a parallel workflow. So, while one agent is over in Workday checking warranty status, another one is, at the same time, in SAP's scheduling a replacement shipment. A process that might have taken days of back-and-forth emails and manual lookups now becomes a coordinated, multi-system response that happens in minutes.
And the results, well, they're tangible and they're measurable. When you run tasks in parallel and you automate the coordination between them, you just slash your cycle times. And because the execution is handled by machines following precise logic, accuracy goes way up. And of course, since you've eliminated all those bottlenecks, your overall process throughput increases, freeing up your skilled people to do more strategic work. All right, let's wrap up by tackling the most critical concern for any enterprise architect, head on. How do we secure a system full of collaborating, autonomous agents? How do we build this thing with trust baked in from the very beginning? You really have to design for these challenges from day one. You've got to balance autonomy with oversight, lock down data access, make sure every decision is transparent and explainable, and ensure your agents aren't working at cross purposes. A solid governance framework isn't an add-on, it's a foundational day one requirement. So the architectural approach here has to be a zero-trust mindset. You know the drill. Never trust, always verify. Every single agent needs its own strong identity. We embed our policies directly as code, so they are automatically enforced. We apply the principle of least privilege, giving an agent access to only the specific systems and data it absolutely needs to do its job, and nothing more. And of course, we monitor everything, all the time. So if there's one big takeaway, it's this. Agentic AI is way more than just a new tool for automation. It's a fundamental shift in architecture. We are moving away from building rigid, static workflows, and we are moving towards orchestrating dynamic, intelligent, and, most importantly, governable systems that can adapt and execute at true enterprise scale. And this really reframes the role of the architect, doesn't it? It moves you from being a builder of static systems to being an orchestrator of dynamic intelligence. So the real question is, what intelligence are you going to orchestrate next?